So, hello everybody, and welcome to this film club discussion organized by Sapan, the South Asia Peace Action Network. I'm your host and moderator for today. My name is Aekta Kapoor, and I'm a writer and editor based in New Delhi. I run a digital magazine called Ishi, and I've been associated with Sapan since its launch in 2021. Sapan brings together individuals and organizations in South Asia and the diaspora for a minimum common agenda, that is peace in South Asia. We advocate for freedom of travel, trade, and tourism within the region, upholding human rights and dignity and collaboration in all areas. Our volunteers are an inter-regional, cross-diasporic, intergenerational group of peacemongers who passionately believe that the nations of the region must engage in dialogue and allow people-to-people contact. That vision is what informs our work, including monthly discussions such as this one today. Today, we are discussing a film called After Sabeen, directed by Schokofeh Kamiz. Schokofeh made this 60-minute documentary film about the prominent peace activist and social entrepreneur Sabeen Mahmud, who was shot dead in Karachi 10 years ago. The film features Sabeen's inspiring mother Mahenaz, who was wounded in the attack that killed Sabeen. This moving and artistic film also draws on the memories and grief of Sabeen's friends and their ongoing efforts to continue her work and legacy. The film was screened this month by Vikalp at Prithvi as part of their monthly online series. Vikalp at Prithvi is a collaboration of Prithvi Theatre in Mumbai and Vikalp Films for Freedom. It's my honor and pleasure to introduce our speakers for today. Schokofeh Kamiz was born in Tehran and now lives in Berlin. Her work moves fluidly between image and story, drawing on a background in journalism, photography, and film. Her practice has increasingly embraced research-based work and is often biographical in nature. She explores the space between political social narratives and personal realms, primarily through quiet observation. And this film, I think, is really an example of that. So thank you, Schokofeh, for your work, for making this film, and for speaking with us today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
We also have with us today Anand Patwardhan in Mumbai, who has been making documentary films for over 5 decades, pursuing issues at the crux of social and political life in India. Most of his films have been banned by state television channels and censored, rulings that Anand successfully challenged in court. Active in movements for interfaith harmony and movements against unsustainable development, militarism, and nuclear nationalism, Anand describes himself as, quote, a non-serious human being forced by circumstances to make serious films, unquote. He's a co-founder and co-curator of Vikalp at Prithvi series. So thank you for screening this film, Anand, and thank you for being here today.
You're muted, Anand.
Yeah. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, thanks.
Our third discussant for today could not be with us as he is right now traveling to join a flotilla to Gaza. Shahidul Alam is a photographer, writer, filmmaker, institution builder, and human rights defender. He was Time Magazine Person of the Year 2018. New York Times listed his book, The Tide Will Turn, in Best Art Books of 2020. He's a National Geographic explorer at large. And today, he's traveling to join the media flotilla of the Freedom Flotilla Coalition, an international initiative aiming to break the Israeli blockade of Gaza and challenge the ongoing media blackout there. He's the first Bangladeshi to join this flotilla, taking the number of countries it represents to 45. We in Sapan send him our love and solidarity, and may he and all the others in the flotilla stay safe. So I will begin today's discussion with Schokofeh. So first of all, I must say, Schokofeh, that the film is beyond moving. I watched most of the film with my eyes full of tears. And though it is set in a particular context and time in Pakistan, I think the message and the emotion behind it is quite universal. So in the beginning of the film, there's this part where you did talk about how you got involved with this project. But can you elaborate on that and tell us how long were you in Karachi, and was that your first time there?
Sure. First time, actually, I was in 2012 2012 or 2011 in Pakistan.
Okay.
I was working with a theater group on something different, on the cause of European people who were thinking that, you know, democracy is like a jacket and you can make it for every other country and just go there and put the jacket and they have to fit in this jacket. And I wanted to do something against that, and then let's say that democracy is also not really perfect, and is also, every country has, it's very complex. You cannot put every political experience in a country and the movements in one direction and say that is our vision, and you have to go there because it's not working and it will not work. So, and in this journey, I met Omar Kasmani, a dear friend of mine who is anthropologist, and I was we meet each other almost every 2-3 days. Still, we are very close. And back then, I had a appointment, like meeting, get together for a coffee, and he just called and saying that I'm really sorry, I cannot come because I just heard a very dear friend of mine got shot or killed in Karachi. And, you know, we went to, as it is in the part of culture that we know, we went to an Arabic shop, we bought food a lot and went to her place. Bani Abidi, another artist, a friend, was also there. And we were just sitting there, and these two person constantly, like 7 hours, were talking about Sabeen. And, you know, everyone was like listening and saying nothing, just the conversation between two of them. And and I don't know, I was like, what a pity that I've never met this woman. I fell in love with her without knowing her. So yeah, and that's why I thought I have to go there again. And I have to meet her mother, because I heard an interview that was on BBC, radio BBC, with her, and I was like, oh my God. Now I understand this, everything that these two friends of mine were saying about Sabeen, where it's coming from. So just listening to Mahenaz's voice and interview and this strong everything, and something connected us very, connected me to her, because my father would also say to me always, you're like a lion. Yeah, if you're hurt, you go somewhere and lick yourself, your wound, and then you will come, and you're, and Mahenaz was saying in that interview that I'm very private with my feelings. And I was like, oh my God, yeah, I totally understand this. And I really wanted to meet her in the first place. Yeah.
And I think the movie does make, I think, me and anybody who watches also wish we had known Sabeen, you know. I feel I know her now, you know, after watching the film. I feel that connection. And it's coming out through her absence, you know.
Exactly.
She's only featured in the first few seconds, you know, when you're showing that video clip, and in the rest of the movie she's not there at all, but she's so there, you know, her presence is so palpable. So how many years did you spend on making this film?
4 to 5 years. So should I answer it in details, or just that's enough?
So how big was your crew, and how how did you finance the whole thing?
Yeah, that's very interesting that you're asking because there was no crew. It's just me.
Oh, wow.
I directed, I captured, I was sound person, I edited, I did everything myself.
Wow.
And yeah, and I also financed it myself. So I
Okay.
was working my day work and putting everything I earned to that film. So
So
yeah,
this was your junoon, you know, this was your obsession.
exactly.
So yeah, I'm very feeling very emotional to know that Mahenaz is in the room today. This film was actually shot 17 months after she lost her daughter Sabeen, and
Yeah.
you know, I'm a mother of two daughters, and every time Mahenaz came on the screen, like my heart would become so full of emotion. I mean, just knowing that she's in the room here is also making me feel, you know, like my heart is beating very fast. But as a mother yourself, you know, you have a young son. What was your experience of interviewing, spending time with, you know, this kind of a strong mother? Like she's grieving, but she's so strong.
Yeah, definitely. So that is exactly because I captured later because I went to London to meet Mahnaz, um, like maybe 12 months before, or maybe a little bit more, because when I met Mahnaz, I never told her that actually I'm with child right now. I was 3 months pregnant, and I didn't want that she's making any decision because she feels, like I have to do it. The poor girl is coming here pregnant, and I say no. It was not. I said nothing to her. I just told her also I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't have money. I don't have any agenda. I don't have any concept. But I really want to make this film. So, and I think that was, and in film you will see Sima Khala is a very, like the person, that they are so good together, and Mahnaz and Sima like looked at each other and said, "Okay, we will talk and come back to you." And I was like, "Okay, if you want, we can have the first conversation tomorrow." And we met, and I didn't use the material back then in London because it was off for me. I really wanted to make the documentary in Pakistan. So that's why I got very, like I was too big to go to, like I was very pregnant and then giving birth. And yeah, and I went again when I gave birth to my son. I went to Pakistan and to Karachi, like maybe not. I didn't go for one time, like 2 months. I went maybe 5, 6 times, and because I really wanted to observe. I didn't want to go and capture and come back and say, okay, I know everything. I want to do the film. So the Pakistan issue is very complex. We cannot just, and I worked many years as journalist, and I didn't want to do journalism. I didn't want to come Iranian, born in Iran, living in Germany, going to Pakistan, making a film about the politics in Pakistan. It was, like I couldn't see myself at this point. My point was that as an Iranian, that Balochistan is something, a common issue for us, cause for us. I'm also a person who is asking what is going on in Balochistan. So, and I saw it as my duty to go and I really wanted to know who was Sabeen. That everyone is talking about her, and like people, I don't know. To everyone I was talking, it has something to say about Sabeen. Even it was like maybe subtle, maybe small, but it was something. And I was thinking that is the life actually I want to live. Not doing big stuff, small, but a lot that you really change something from the inside. And I think that was Sabeen, and that was because of that, she was so important to many people and dear to many people, because she was not staying there and say, I know everything better or do whatever. She was just living her idea.
And I think that comes across in the film, in those little poems that you've put in the middle. And it's really coming across that everybody felt she's looking at them or she's talking to them. So she really had that heart connection with every person she seems to have interacted with, It's a very special life who can really be able to do that.
Definitely.
So what was the most challenging part of the film direction and the production for you?
I cannot say challenging, but I would love to capture outside of the city, but because of a lot of issues, I couldn't. So that's a lot of interiors scenes, which has also I decided to do just interiors, and the only outside capturing I have with Hanif, and it's okay for me. So, but I would, and then I decided just to sit in the car because Mahenaz told me that Sabeen loved driving herself. And that's why also she was driving at that night, even though the driver was in backseat. So because she would always drive. I was like, okay, maybe sitting in the car, seeing the city from her eye, that would be for me also something that would be very interesting. Yeah, and also time, of course, like all of us were busy, and I would love to have more conversational settings, like Mahnaz and her mother. So, but unfortunately, because everyone was very busy, and that it didn't work out. But yeah.
But I think it's still very, very powerful. In fact, even the interior scenes that you've taken, like there's just this shot of a table with, I remember seeing a cockroach repellent, a hit kept, and it's like it literally hits you because it's like, this is just a normal home, this is just, she's so larger than life, but at the end of the day, this is a normal family that has completely been shattered because of this,
Definitely.
It's very, very moving, yeah. So did you ever have any moment where you felt any perception of threat or any kind of danger during the shoot?
Never. It was just one time I wanted to go from Mahnaz to Hanif, and no one was around. And I was like, I really want to go also to the tree again. And I took a rickshaw, and he was like awesome. He was like, the army was stopping us and asking questions, and I was, that was the only moment that I was afraid, but it was not a threat or something, but I felt very afraid. So, and the rickshaw driver, just told me, say that you're not from here and you don't speak Urdu, just let me do it. And I was sitting there, and they took my mobile and had a look into the mobile, and saw that really I'm not from Pakistan and I'm from Germany, and my mobile is not working at all. I didn't know why I had with me. So, but it was life-saving, and that's why they thought, okay, I'm a tourist and I'm just, capturing something, because I had my camera in my hand. So yeah, that was the only time. I have no connection. Is it me or now? Yeah.
Now it's okay. Yeah. So yeah, this is a very good moment to ask you about the technical details of the shoot. Like you have your equipment, and you have to see the right moment. There's all that craft of filmmaking, the art also behind what you're trying to do. But then the subject is also so emotional.
Yeah.
You have Mehnaz, you have her mother, you have Hanif, you have the other friends. so they're getting emotional, but you're
Yeah.
also recording as an artist, so how were you
Yes.
able to balance that?
Yeah, it was not easy because we have these hormones when we are fresh mothers, and yeah, it was not. Sometimes it was not easy. For example, once I really crashed behind the camera and I was just crying, but unfortunately, during my work as journalist, I have seen a lot of very harsh stuff. So, for example, when I went to Libya during the civil war, and so on and so on, and also as an Iranian, you grow up. I was witnessing 8 years of war, and for me, I learned from journalism one thing is because you never go with your film and to or with your whatever you do, you don't go and travel and say this moment happened because it was that. This moment happened because of. You just sent your work, and this is always in front of my eyes. That is not about me. It's about the person in the front of the camera who trusted me. And I have, I'm very ideological, I'm sorry. So I think that's why also I don't do journalism anymore in Germany, because it's very funny. You come from suppressed countries and you come here and you have to censor yourself. So that's why for me, journalism is not profession at all in Europe, in white supremacy countries at all anymore. Yeah, and so that but I learned from 10 years of journalism: be patient, be quiet, just listen, and give the platform to people, because if it doesn't, everyone knows that is a very dear cause or very important cause for you. Otherwise, you would not go and have this. So, and I try to take myself out, but my starting point is always autobiographical. But as soon as I started, there is no traces from me other, like maybe cultural or it's political. But yeah, that was. And Mahenaz is just lovely. Just sit there and just let her talk, and you cannot get bored, never, because she is something very special, very special.
Yeah, we can see that. I think I don't think anybody who has seen this film, and I urge everybody to see this film, you cannot be left unmoved by Mahenaz, for sure.
Yeah.
So except for the part that you wanted to shoot outdoors, is there anything else that you wish you could have added to the film, or in retrospect, after so many years, is there something you want to change about it?
No, not at all. I mean, that is this film at this moment, with everything that I had and I put emotionally or finance-wise, I put into the film. So nothing that I could say I want to, because it's, for me, the people inside, Marvi, Mahenaz, Sima Khala, Hanif, everyone is so real, and it's so, it's just as it is. My wish is I wish I could have a little bit more support, because I really want to make a follow-up film. So to see how is now the situation. And because we are human being, and it's a very very interesting to see how much we take it for us, how much it's left with us after 10 years or after 20 years. But the person who is dealing with the cause, it's always fresh for the person. And yeah, and I wanted really to see at the personal level and at this society level and this social place, what has changed, what is new or not new, or I have a lot of questions for now, and I hope that we are going to make it.
Inshallah, you might do something again.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you, Schokofeh, for answering the questions, and please stay on because we're going to have other people asking you as well. I know that you're in a film festival. I think you're showing your film at a film festival right now.
Yeah, exactly. I just wanted to say that the film was like starting a little bit earlier, and now I don't know how much time I have. The people will come, but till then I will stay.
Okay, all right. Okay, perfect. Okay, so I will now like to turn to Anand Patwardhan. Hi, Anand. So you recently screened Schokofeh's film at Vikalp at Prithvi. So what drew you to select this particular film, and why did you feel it was relevant in the Indian context?
So when Sabeen was killed 10 years ago, we were all shocked and we didn't know what to do about it. And finally, I got to see a film about her, which told me more. And because I don't remember if I ever actually met Sabeen, but I have interacted with her on email for sure. I'm not sure if I went to Pakistan a few times in 2003 onwards. For a few years, I used to go several times, but I can't remember if she was in one of the gatherings that I went to. She must have been there, but we didn't speak, but we spoke on email, and yeah, so it was a horrible occurrence which um, we were all shocked by, and then after I saw the film, I think Himal was circulating the film online, and that's where I saw it, and then we selected it right away so we could show it here. Because we often show films about fundamentalism in India, Hindu fundamentalism and other kinds. And so it was important to show that this is not only happening here, it's happening in our region and all over the world. And the human rights defenders who are constantly under attack. Yeah.
So what was the reaction to the film after the screening?
Oh, people were very, very sad, of course, but they loved the film. So thank you, Schokofeh, for giving it to us and for allowing us to screen it.
Thank you for showing. Thank you.
Yeah, we are also grateful because if you had not done this, then we also could not have seen this. So, one of our founding members
I had a question for Schokofeh also about why Zahir Kidwai is not in it, because he was very close to Sabeen. And so it felt like one person was missing in this story. I don't know if you tried to reach him and couldn't. No.
No, actually, if I wanted to go to close people and ask every close people, so I can, I know, so I was also, I really even wanted a woman for Hanif, to be honest. But then I found out that I cannot find someone better than Hanif, writing in Urdu, writing in English, living in country and knowing about. So for me, Marvi and Mahenaz were two very person that I really wanted to have them in the film. So, and of course, I could bring a lot of different voices inside, and I would love to. But I think that would be a little bit, then I might also start having people that give the ghusl to her, you know, like start a lot of other different people to bring it. So that is, and Marvi, because she was running to TF afterward, and that was very important for me to. So yeah, and yeah, that was it was not a. I didn't want to have someone because I heard this back then also that I didn't want that. That's not. I really wanted to have a very minimalist film that is about Sabine, and I think that was the only thing that I had in my on my, um, and I didn't want to hurt someone's feeling and or you know like yeah.
And like you said, everybody felt that they were very close to her, so it would have been very hard to choose. You know, actually, before we had the meeting today, yesterday, I got a comment from one of our founding members and a very strong peacemonger, Lalita Ramdas. And she said that she pointed out how artists and filmmakers use, they demonstrate their activism by combining their professional profiles with the public issues.
Yeah.
For instance, just 9 days ago, we lost Zubeen Garg, the famous Assam musician. And he took very strong positions on social and political issues through the medium of song and film, song and music, sorry. And then, of course, Shahidul, who was supposed to be here today, he's supporting, humanitarian efforts by joining the flotilla to Gaza. So he's combining his skills as a photographer with his commitment to raise his voice against a genocide as an activist.
Mhm.
And that's also probably the reason why you, as an Iranian filmmaker living in Germany, decided to make a film on a committed and a gutsy activist like Sabeen. So coming to Anand, actually, that's also been something that you have been doing with your work and activist filmmaking like yours and Schokofeh's. It walks a fine line between documenting reality and provoking audiences to act. So, how do you see the role of documentary cinema as an act of resistance and as a catalyst for social change in a time like now when mainstream narratives are really dominating public discourse? And also, I mean, you can bring in mainstream cinema in that, Anand.
Yeah, so I find that, as an agent for change to be a bit of a cliche in the sense that I'm trying to tell the truth as I see it, in front of my camera without changing what's happening in front of the camera, but recording it and then juxtaposing it with other things that I see, and then hoping that the audience will come to their own conclusion. I don't want to preach to the audience, but I do want to present the facts as I see them. And so that is what I see my job as. Um, like, but the films do take a strong position. You're right about that, and that is because um, maybe I see myself as a kind of a lawyer that I have I have to some extent made sense of what is going on. I'm not, and I'm presenting that evidence, and I'm hoping that in a world which is full of lies today, the media is completely telling us lies, whether it's in India, America, or many parts of the world, where you just cannot make out what is actually happening. Um, that I'm able to communicate something and start a discussion with that.
Hmm. Hmm. So today's generations are mostly consuming media through digital platforms, through short films, or through even like reels, really short
Yeah.
sort of formats. So how do you see the future of long form documentary for activism and
So that has been a serious challenge for me. Not this The last film that I made was 96 minutes long, but the film before that it was 4 hours long. And
Hmm.
it definitely suffered in terms of distribution because it's hard for people to find 4 hours to watch a film. But
Yeah.
I'd been filming for so long, I didn't want to lose the material that I had filmed, and I
Hmm.
wanted to tell that story, even if it becomes some kind of an archive where people will go back to it uh,
Hmm.
as and when they want to.
Mm.
But you're right. The real problem now is the attention span of the Gen Z, as they call it, has been created so that people switch off after a
Mm.
few seconds or a few minutes, and
Mm.
and that is something that I try to fight as much as I can.
Mm. I don't think it's just Gen Z. I think it's all the generations. It's the
Yeah,
whole the platform economy is built on the short attentions. So it's changing everybody's behaviors.
yeah.
Sorry, just I had twice knock on the door. I really have to
Okay.
leave. I would love to say also something to this, but
Yeah.
maybe in another occasion. And
Another day.
or
Yeah.
yeah, we will.
Yeah. And
Thank
I
you
hope
for
to
Yeah.
meet
having
again.
me. Thank you for
Thank you
Thank
so
watching
you.
the
much,
Thank
film.
you.
Schokofeh, for being
Thank
Yeah,
here.
you for
Yes.
thank
Thank you,
you.
Shoko. So lovely to see you.
making
Thank you
the
so
film. And I
much.
just wanted to say that somebody made the film, and that is the most important thing, because this was a film that needed to be made, and you made it. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All the best for your screening. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Have a nice discussion afterwards.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you,
bye.
Shoko.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Schokofeh.
bye,
Bye.
bye, bye.
So I'm also done with the questions from my end, and I would now like to invite people in the audience to share their thoughts. Let me first begin with Beena Sarwar, the co-founder and curator of Sapan, who was a close friend of Sabeen. So, Beena, would you like to please share your thoughts?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you, Ekta, for hosting and doing such a marvelous job, and to Anand for joining in the middle of all he has going on, and of course Shoku who came. And I want to thank Mimi Appa, Mahenaz, Sabeen's mother, who I honestly became close to after Sabeen. I didn't really know her before Sabeen because. I mean, and like it's very obvious in the film, there were so many people who were close to Sabeen. So for me, it was actually Zach, who introduced me to Sabeen when she was about maybe 18. She had just finished school. And she was, in the middle of all these things. And she was kind of like a younger sister to me. So it's been very emotional for me also to watch the film and all of that. And so we did a lot of Takhrib Kari together, Sabeen and I, a lot of peacemongering together. We plotted things together for peace, for a better world.
Mm.
So and I was living and I moved to Lahore in 88 soon after I met her. And then I would meet her when I came back to Karachi. I don't think I ever met her in Lahore, but I wasn't living in Karachi for most of that time. And then I was away a lot. And then we actually the South Asia Peace Action Network, Sapan, that you are also founding member of, and so is Anand, and many of the people here also are. And maybe someone can share the founding charter link in the chat. So anybody who's not hasn't endorsed it is welcome to do so. We have 125 organizations on now on it. So Sabeen, we started something called Peace Action Karachi, Sabeen and I, and it was a Yahoo group at that time. And that was at the start. I think what Shoku said and what Anand has said about, and what you said also about media and all that. So it's not just the short attention spans that these platforms have given, it's also that a kind of a battamizi. And Sabine could not abide battamizi. She said battamizi, though, like, because she was a very civil person. And like everybody knows that even in T2F, people who she didn't agree with were given platforms. And people who she didn't really particularly like, as Marvi says in the film. Um, so Peace Action Karachi jo tha, usko when we did this, it was this Yahoo group, and then we started seeing. So this was about 50, like almost 20 years ago, perhaps, or something, like a very long time ago. And in Peace Action Karachi, we started seeing the beginnings of this battamizi happening, this online battamizi that starts happening when people are behind this filter of, the computer screen or the phone screen or whatever, and you feel you can say whatever you like unfiltered without processing, which you would not say to somebody on their face, perhaps, right? That kind of battamizi started happening, and Sabine was like, "Oof, I can't take this. I am leaving." And we started this group, and she quit. And then I was like, "Oh, all right, well, I'll also quit." So I also quit. And then later I was like, what was I thinking? No, we should hold our space. Let the people who have done Badtamizi know that they have done Badtamizi and it will not be tolerated. Why should we leave our space? So that was my first kind of light bulb that went off. And since then, and I've kept that, the thing that, so people are like, why are you still on Twitter? You know, like, well, because I have so many thousand followers, and yes, the number dropped to half after Elon Musk did his thing, but I still have people who I can say something to, who maybe something, whatever I'm saying, it's of value to someone and maybe it's helpful. And I have found it as a helpful platform and so many other things. So Sabeen, and so I had not seen this film before, and I want to again thank Anand and the Vikalp at Prithvi series for putting it online, because of which I was able to see it. And then I immediately called Mimi Appa and I said, I really want to, I would love to have this for Sapan, and how can we do this? So she sent Shoku a message, and then Shoku, of course, did not reply because she's so busy. Then I contacted Anand. I was like, because they just shown it. So then he sent her a quick email saying, so that's how we connected. And we put this event together in like literally less than a week. It was so fast. So I really want to thank everybody for being here. And we have, people, hopefully people will watch on YouTube. And the two things more I will say. One about this, which I think, and well, one is that, of course, for South Asia Peace Action Network, for Sapan, Sabeen is like one of our founding members, even though she was not there when we started. We started it in 2021. And but when we start our events, normally, as you know, Ekta, we start with a slide of people whose vision and work legacy we are building on, whose vision we are taking forward, which includes people like Kuldeep Nayyar and Nirmala Didi and Ayer Rahman, and Sabeen is on that list as well, on that first thing. So she's always with us, and these are things. And Sabeen and I were also on the founding board of the South Asia Foundation that Madanjeet Singh started. And I remember we were both supposed to go, we were invited to Kashmir for that. And we didn't get visas, and we were like, this is so sad that we couldn't go. And and T2F, of course. In fact, the film on Kashmir that I made, called Milne Do, it's a 9-minute film. And usme I interviewed Sabeen at the old T2F with Asim's mural behind her. And Basharat Peer was also, I interviewed him, that he's also interviewed in that space, in the original T2F, the second floor, for people who don't know, which was then actually on the second floor in Karachi. And now it's still called T2F, though it's on the ground floor when it moved to its new premises. So so just one more thing I'll say is that, the people who are creating the negativity on social media mostly, or the narratives that are being built, the falsehoods, the reactivism, the hyper nationalism hype. So a lot of those constituencies have, massive troll armies and resources, and like people whose job it is to go online and make things difficult for people who are trying to further the agenda of humanity, peace, inclusiveness, those kind of values that Sabeen, that all of us, Asma Jahangir, that we all hold dear. So the social media ethics pledge that we started is one thing that people can join to get a kind of a mini training for online, which is at sapannews.com/social. And the other thing is to please go and like and share our social media things, because that has to be organic. It has to be everybody, all of us, all of you, because we don't have the paid troll armies to take forward our narrative. So thank you, Ekta.
Thank you, Beena. So what I'm learning from you and Anand is we need to keep doing what we are doing, and we need to keep following our passion and our heart and our calling, and let even if one drop of that inspiration can change one person's mind, then it's worth it.
Yeah, it's like, dropping a ink drop into the water, or like what Shoku said a little while ago. What Shoku said, as a journalist, to be patient, to listen to other people, to not react. So those are the values that are there in the social media ethics pledge that I hope everybody here will endorse if you haven't already.
Okay, thank you. And okay, so next I would like to invite Khushi Kabir. She's a fierce activist from Dhaka, whom I had the pleasure of meeting last year in Delhi. So Khushi, would you like to share your thoughts on the film, on Schokofeh's film, and on the issues that it raises?
Thank you, Aekta. And I was moved when I saw the film, and I moved listening to the discussions. It's had so many layers and levels that it's just not the film, and it's not what it's taking on the ethos and everything that Sabeen imbibed inside her and bringing in, what ethics do we have? How do we continue? From hearing from Anand, hearing from Beena, hearing from Schokofeh, it's just amazing that how broad this discussion has been. But when I saw the film, it was really such an emotional, such a moving film of this person. I had heard when Sabeen was, killed, and my heart went out to want to know more about her. And so there was always this interest in knowing this person who for her belief gets, it's so strong that she gets, that some people think her belief is so strong that that's the threat and kills her. And it rings a bell in all of us, in all our countries, I think. It's not just Sabeen, and it's just not Pakistan. I think of Bangladesh, if I bring in the Bangladesh angle, like Balochistan, we have the Chittagong Hill tracks. And right now, at this moment, I'm engrossed with murders happening because some of the indigenous communities were trying to protest the rape of a young indigenous woman and girl. And because of that, there's been a violence. So, when people have this belief, they're willing to risk their lives. And it brought to mind there's lots happening in all our countries of people who believe in something, and their belief is something that is a threat to others. And I thought of the bloggers who were killed around 2013, 14, 15. And one name comes to my mind is Abhijit Roy. He was a writer, and he was fiercely, secular. He was a humanist, a writer, a blogger. He was a rationalist, a free thinker, and he also called himself, he was an atheist. And his writings influenced his books, a whole group of young people. So this was at the book fair, which is a massive book fair held every year. And he came down, he used to live in America, and he came down for one of his books, and his father was a bit worried about him coming down, that was it safe? And he came, and he was at the book fair, and he had lots of people surrounding him, and he was macheted at the book fair, and he was killed. And that, so to me, somebody like Abhijit, who was such a gentle person, a fine person, a person who everyone respected so much, who wouldn't hurt a soul, just because he was so steadfast, he was so strong in his own rational thinking and belief, and he would just write so that people who wanted to understand could read and understand and decide what they liked. It wasn't like he was shoving it down everyone's throat, but they had to machete him. So, I think of things like that anyone who has, that kind of integrity of wanting to do what they believe in so strongly is always at risk. And I think this film is universal. And I want to thank Sabeen for being who she was. I want to I think the film to me was very important, is seeing Mahenaz, hearing Mahenaz, listening to Mahenaz. That is what somebody should be. Somebody who has birthed Sabeen had to be someone like Mahenaz. My respects to her. This film was something that touched me so deeply, moved me, and I think I won't say much more, except I do think I'll keep wanting to watch it again and again. Yeah, like that.
Yeah, even I need to watch it again, because I was crying so much that half of it I didn't even see. But you're right about Mahenaz, you can understand what Sabeen would be like when you hear Mahenaz speaking, you understand what kind of a person Sabeen must have been. Thank you, Khushi, for sharing that. And now we'll have a comment from Ranjini Rao. So She's a peacemonger in Delhi. Ranjini, you wanted to share your thoughts about the film?
Yes, yes. First of all, thank you, Sabeen. Thank you, Schokofeh, and thank you, Beena, for sharing this. Thank you, Anandji. Thank you. Saying thank you to Mahenaz ji is so inadequate, but I don't know. I mean, it's been incredible watching this movie, and I just wanted to highlight just a couple of things that really stayed with me. We are all sort of celebrating the heroic aspects of this mother who has raised her daughter to be fearless and all of that. But in the film, she says something which is so powerful. She talks about how she knows at every level that Sabeen is not with her, and she has come to terms with it. But she keeps the room ready, and the room is always set. And somewhere she plays this little game with herself कि कहीं वो वापस आ जाए तो हर चीज सलीके से होना चाहिए. I mean, that is something which is so humanizing. It is human beings who are heroic, ordinary, everyday people who have that, like you said, the hit repellent on the table. It's people, ordinary people. It is not, they become larger than life because of all of this, no? Because of how they think and because they are steadfast in being human. And on a very lighter note, to see Jadoo was such a, Jadoo is the cat, is Sabeen's cat, and Jadoo being sandwiched between the folds of that quilt or that mattress. It was so beautiful. And I don't know, I don't think I'm capable to sort of give tribute to Sabeen, but to really to hats off to Schokofeh for bringing out these nuances, for and the incredible conversation between Mahenaz ji and Sabeen's Nani, where she says ki Sabeen kab aayingi, and then she says no, but Sabeen nahi hai, and then she just breaks down. Nani ji just breaks down, and isn't that how ordinary people react? Like the fact that this movie is about ordinary people doing the most extraordinary things or being able to live life according to these mindsets is incredible. And definitely, please, everybody should watch this movie. We should rewatch it. All of those who've seen it once, watch it again, because I think the lessons are timeless, timeless. And last, I would just like to say that, death is something which is bound to happen, to come to all of us, irrespective of how prepared or not prepared we are. But Mahenaz ji said something. She said that Sabeen lived every single moment of her lifetime. She genuinely lived while living. And I think that is something we all need to pause and think about. And Beena ji said this in an interview in Substack, and it stayed with me. For me, Mahenaz ji is what you would call a Hussaini. कि बहुत कुछ होता है, everything happens in life and there's so much devastation, but you get up every morning and you just show up for life. And so, yeah, that's my 2 cents on the movie. Thank you for taking my input. Thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing your beautiful 2 cents.
Not
Ranjini.
at all, not at all.
Thank you so much. So would anybody else in the meeting room would like to ask any questions?
I saw Zarmine's hand up. I think Nini's hand, Zarmine from Joy of Urdu, her hand was up, and I see Khawar Mumtaz's hand up.
Okay.
Let Nini come first. Let Nini come first.
Thank you, Rani Khala. Thanks, Beena. I just wanted to say that thank you for this opportunity. I wish I had been able to say this to Schokofeh directly. Hopefully she'll see this later. So Joy of Urdu, our organization, the bilingual organization, exists because of Sabeen, like so many other initiatives. that she was a champion of. And Beena is one of our advisors for Joy of Urdu. It wouldn't have existed were it not for Sabeen, because she was the person that I would meet every time I came to Pakistan. I was living in Moscow at the time, and I wouldn't have time to meet a lot of people, but I'd make sure that I met her because she was such a big supporter of this idea that I got more and more clarity just talking about it. And on the 5th anniversary of the assassination, we were planning, and it took us, amazing that you did this, Beans, in a week, because we worked for months, and we were doing a big festival on the 5th anniversary in 2020, where Mahenaz Appa, Mimi, was coming to Dubai, and all our collateral publicity, the marketing collateral was designed, book giveaway bookmarks. Ulcer Kal Foundation was sponsoring this event. Cinema Akil was going to show this film. The Goethe Institute was flying Schokofeh over. All of this stuff was done. So it was going to be a 3-part thing where we would show the film, there would be performances, dances, group dances, music, the whole thing. And then someone said that, there's this virus, so let's postpone it. And I remember speaking with Mahenaz Appa, and she said, yeah, April, maybe June, maybe Sabeen's birthday might a few months, it might be a good idea to do it then. And of course, we all know what happened. COVID hit. But on this year, which is the 10th year, I think it's Joy of Urdu's book was launched on the 10th anniversary of our founding of Joy of Urdu. And on the 10th anniversary, we published our first bilingual book, which on this 10th anniversary of the assassination, was the book, it was given an award, and Beena's words are in there, and as well. And the dedication is to Sabeen in bilingually, and it says Sinan ke liye aur Sabeen ke naam, for Sinan and dedicated to Sabeen. Sinan is my son. It's almost in my mind a nice, befitting that it should happen on this 10th year. And perhaps it's better that we have as the big celebration of her life. The festival is still called, because we have everything ready still, is Carpe Diem, celebrating Sabeen, because of something that she said to me when she visited Paris, which was what you said earlier, that she lived every day. What she had said was, मर गए तो मर गए, आज तो जी लें. So Carpe Diem from that. So I wish that I could have said hello to Schokofeh, that it's taken another 5 years to be in the same space as her. And maybe we still have an in-person viewing of it sometime before the year ends or before next April. Thank you so much, Beena and Sapan and all of you guys, for giving us this opportunity. Full disclosure, I haven't made myself watch it yet, but I will try.
No, I can understand why you haven't. And that
You
was
can
something
see-
that even, yeah, I saw the picture there. Yeah. That was
Marty
something that,
gave that to me when I visited Pakistan and I was at T2F.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Anybody else wants to share?
I see
Just
Khawar
wanted to say a
Mumtaz
few
hand was
words.
up. Yeah.
I just, I mean, as everybody has said, I met Sabeen when she was just setting up to T2F, and I met her through Zahir Kadwai, who was her mentor, really. and treated her as a daughter. And Zahir's wife, Nusrat, is a dear friend who just passed away recently, a couple of weeks ago. So that's how we, and when she first set up that T2F, I think one of the few earliest functions I went, although I don't live in Karachi anymore, I live in Lahore, but it so happened that it coincided. And all that has been said about her, I mean, watching the film was a teary-eyed experience because, you know, it really brought her alive. But my, you know, my special tribute to Mahenaz, I've never met her and I don't know her, but the way she's stoically almost, she's accepted her daughter's going away and has a philosophical view of her departure, having that she's lived her life fully, and that in itself is a celebration. But to me, the other things that the film triggers, and also what Sabeen did, I mean, she was fearless. And there was always a nervousness that I felt sometimes with the programs that she did. But I always also felt that, you know, she's a young girl and there's intolerance in our society. There is questioning of anything which is not within the confines of what everything should be. But why should anyone be, you know, it's a T2F with houses, you know, at one given time, 30 people, 40 people. Why should it bother anyone? And why should it be a threat? But I think that's what really the film, I mean, the documentary, of course, tells us about her and her courage and her not willing to stand back from what she believed in. But it's the other point of what is society like? What has it become? Why is it that there is so much intolerance? It was a platform because your media doesn't cover some of those issues. You only hear one point of view. It was a platform where like-minded people come and debate and discuss. And then you find that even that is not tolerated. And I think that's what is bothersome. And that is what we see, that the film, of course, has a lot of pathos and reflects, as Khushi said, the ethos of the current times where there is no tolerance for dissension, no for diversity of view. And I think that's what this triggers most in me, because this is across the region. I mean, this kind of intolerance we see all the time, whether it was Sri Lanka during the civil conflict and war, whether it's Bangladesh or Pakistan or Nepal now. And we don't hear of a lot of this, but I think this debate that it triggers is important for us to take forward if we want a really peaceful South Asia, to be able to speak and to be able to express what we believe that, I mean, so first of all, about the documentary, I loved Mahenaz saying that this was a all-female household. The grandmother, the mother, the daughter, and the cat. And that was very touching, that in our society these days in Pakistan, which is fairly conservative at one level, for a household, an all-female household where everybody stands up for oneself and for each other, those islands still exist. And that was one of those which has been totally wrecked, I think, in a sense. But I still say the bravery and courage of Mahenaz to take this as something that has happened to her life, and she moves on. And in the film, the documentary, I really loved the way Schokofeh shows her in Sabeen's bedroom on her bed. And somehow that really touched me a lot, you know, that connection that she conveys through that. So with that, I'll stop before I start crying again.
No, actually, you're right, you know, and just being who she is and doing what you believe in and your conviction is such a threat to another person. I was reminded of Gauri Lankesh, actually, when I was watching the movie, that she was just doing what she needs to do. She's not harming anybody, you know, and she was also killed for her work, you know, and for speaking out. So yeah, is there anybody else who would like to share? Otherwise, we can wrap up for the day.
I see two hands, Lolly and Fauzia, and maybe we can wrap up
Okay,
after that.
great.
It's really been very overwhelming. I'm looking at Beena's translation of what Sabeen had said, well, if we die, we die. At least today we live. And I don't know how many of you have actually listened to Anand playing and singing his tribute to Joe Hill, who was the Swedish immigrant who had been killed, I think, in 2015 or whenever it was. And I think for me, and I don't know, Anand, if you will be willing to just even sing one verse of that, because what has haunted me and which has enthused me and which has kept me going, that each one of them, whether it was Gauri Lankesh, whether it was about Sabeen, whether it was about, Kalburgi, so many, many others, was, I didn't die, said she, or I didn't die, said he. And I think that that is the most powerful message for me and for, I guess, everyone when we see something like this, hear these stories, listen to these people. They didn't die. Anand, would you?
I won't sing it now, but I can share you the link so everyone can
Okay.
watch.
Okay. Because that was so powerful. It is so powerful. As they say, you can kill a man, but not a song, because that goes the whole world round. And that is what we actually need to take with us, keep us going, and the fact that their message and what they lived for did not die. Thanks, Ekta.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Lolly. And Zarmine has put in the chat that it was Sabeen's 51st birthday this year, and actually that's something I connected with because she and I were born just 20 days apart. So that's something that I connected with her as well. So yeah, we can have Fauzia next.
Thank you so much. Do you hear me with my headphone thing?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So with such a obituary that everybody is saying, such a group, I have nothing more to add more to all this. It's really a very overwhelming experience for me as well. Three things that I would like to put in on my perspective. One, as a person who did not know Sabeen. Sorry, I did not know her. I had never met her. But you know what? My experience when I finished my master's course was, well, this course didn't teach me as much as it taught me how much I don't know. So that kind of a negative, knowledge that you get out of knowledge is the type of feeling that I get when I meet, when I come to know about Sabeen and people like her whom I did not know. So this vast ocean of not knowingness actually got me to know her more than even if I had been with her as a friend. So I feel the gap is more overwhelming for me, and I want to know more about her. But I can know exactly, I know what I'm not knowing. So that kind of a feeling I got. Number two was perspective that Sabeen, like Rumi, every country claims that Rumi was theirs. Turkey says Rumi was the Turk, and Iran says Rumi was Irani. Now even Americans claim that Rumi was an American poet. Sabeen, Karachi may claim Sabeen, Pakistan may claim Sabeen, leftists may claim Sabeen, progressives may claim Sabeen. I, as a Balochistan, claim Sabeen to be dying for our cause. So Sabeen was a person who actually was killed for the cause of bringing the voice of Balochistan to people. Mama Kadir was there to be her guest. So till today, when I hear of Sabeen, I think of the movement of Balochistan. Even on Friday, there was a big rally in front of the UN, which the Baloch people conducted for the disappearances in Balochistan. And after Sabeen, what I missed in the movie was a little bit of an outside scenario as to what was going within Sabeen and her family and her friends is another thing. But what happened for the cause, what Sabeen died for, how is it affected? How was it affected after Sabeen is not here? I think that should be the next 10 years project that now still there. It's still even more increasing more. Sabeen was fighting for these things and they're not ending yet. So something needs to be done. Sabeen's voice needs to be taken forward. So it's kind of a more of a load of work that has come for me to feel than the sadness and the the melancholy part, but it's like more of a responsibility thing. And the third thing that I feel about Mahenaz ji, I know you are around here in the space. I wish we could hear a few words from you as well today before we leave. And what I see you as is like an amanatdar, like an amin, because I saw your mom there. Whenever I see anybody doing anything good, I just wonder, who's the mom? Any good, great man has never impressed me, because that man actually just lets me think who the mom must be. So, Sabeen, I didn't know, but I could feel who is the mom. So, and while seeing you in this movie, and thank you, Schokofeh, to introduce us to the mom, I was really very, my best scene of the movie was when your mom came in. So yes, your mom actually, what I saw you as, it was your mom's progressive thinking or the freedom loving person, as we couldn't even see who she was. In the movie, we couldn't, but we could at least have a feel that it was her who gave it to you. You passed it on to Sabeen very, very well, without corrupting the whole notion of freedom. And I hope this thing that you've done, you may have added more of yours in it too. That's what makes Sabeen so concentrated, like a freedom fighter. So thank you so much. And I don't know what happened with your mom. Is she still there? So I'm curious about that. Mahenaz, please say something. And yeah, we have another hand over there. Thank you so much for letting me speak.
Ekta, we have
Thank you, Fauzia.
we have Hira Mariam. Maybe let's have her as the last voice of the day.
Okay, sure. Hi, Hira. Please share your thoughts.
Hello. Yeah, I'm sure I'm audible.
Yes, yes, you are.
All right. So I've never met Sabeen. Actually, a friend of mine shared the film's link with me, and because I was always curious about this person, Sabeen Mahmud, who was once alive and shared the earth with all of us. Um, Actually, I came to know about her when she passed away, and that just made me more curious at why she was shot. What has she done? And then there comes a scene. I watched the film. I watched the full movie before joining this meeting today. There comes a scene when Mimi. I hope I can call you that because I have seen so many interviews of yours. The Pakistan experience, this movie, and a couple of others where you spoke about your daughter. It was very emotional. The way you look at her, she's your daughter, but the way you look at her is with so much pride. It just fills like my eyes with tears because in our society, I do feel that parents do not forward that confidence um, to their children. And the way you mentioned that there comes a scene in the movie that you say that I want to talk. Sometimes I talk to that person who was responsible, and you're not even sure whether that was the person or not. But the image of whoever has shot Sabeen, that why what did she do to you? How did she violate you? And that is the question that I still think about in today's time, in 2025, where we have less spaces left to express ourselves. And now when I think about it, that 10, 15 years ago, Sabeen was creating that space for us, that her vision was so big that she was creating that space where we could just coexist peacefully, have our ideas through art, through discussions, through politics. So she was someone that if I was there at that time when Sabeen was alive, I think we could have been besties because I get her. I get her thinking. And also through Mimi, the way she explains her, it's so beautiful. It has so much of love, and you can sense that what Sabeen was like a person through Mimi, as a speaker before me shared, Fauzia, and you feel that warmth. yeah, so I haven't met her, but I want to say that I haven't cried for anybody who I've never met. But I think Sabeen is the first person in my life. I've never met her, but through her stories and through who she was as a person, and what kind of impact she has created, not just for the people of Karachi, but I guess for the people in the world. It's great. And I think we should dive, more deeper into knowing how she was as a person. Maybe we can hear through her friends, people who knew her. This meeting was one of those meetings, and the film, of course, gives so much of more like in-depth view of what she was, who Sabeen was. So thank you to the creators of the movie. I've watched the movie, but I'm still like going back and watching the scenes again. And thank you, Mimi, for giving us Sabeen, for believing in her. And I watched one of your, if you're listening to this, I've watched one of your episodes with Shehzad Kyas on Pakistan Experience, where you were like that, you want to do whatever you want to do. If you're going to get a bullet one day in your back, but just do whatever you want to do. And then when you quoted her, that Sabeen used to say, the street are ours, and I'm going to go wherever I want to go and be what I want to be. That was very powerful. Despite so much censorship, I feel that, these are the things that sort of just gives us, that sharp confidence which we need in today's time. So Sabeen is very much alive through people like Mimi and people like you who have made it possible today as for me actually to join and share, how I see Sabeen and what I feel about her as a person. So thank you so much, and thank you for this movie. It was much needed. We all wanted to know more about Sabeen, and this is, I think, the first step, an insight about her life. So thanks.
Thank you, Hira. Which city are you joining from, Hira?
I'm from Lahore, but I do have a connection with Karachi, so I keep traveling back and forth. So
Okay.
yeah, I have some friends in Karachi. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here and for sharing your thoughts. So I think let's wrap this up for today. We've gone longer than scheduled. I thank all the speakers.
How
all the
about that
participants
song?
here.
Sorry, Ekta.
Yeah,
Somebody
do you want
was
to play the
somebody
song?
was to sing a few
No,
lines
the
of the
song
song.
is in the, he put it in the
Huh?
chat,
Oh,
Fauzia.
okay.
He put it in the chat. And
Looking
if
too
everybody who's here, if people would turn on their videos and we can take a photo, a group photo kind of, if
Yeah,
everybody's
I think
okay with
maybe we
that.
can wrap up the meeting. And if anybody wants to join Sapan, please sign the founding charter. That's on our website, southasiapeace.com. And yeah, here's to many more meaningful films and to a world where we can all live in peace and harmony with respect for the dignity of life. So thank you, everybody. And I think we can take our selfie after we shut the recording.
Okay,
Can do
I
it.
will
Yeah.
just stop the recording quick, and then we'll pause the. Give me a.
Yeah.
There's no song. Anand hasn't shared the
He
link.
put it
Have
in
you,
the,
Anand?
he's put it in the link.
We are
He
still
put
we
it
are
in the
still
chat.
live. We are
It's
still
in the,
live.
yeah.
Can we just can we
If
mute
the